All right, our first speaker, the history of this event will not be accurately written should it not include him as the first speaker of the men's conference. It is my honor to introduce to you this religious leader. He is a family man, married for years to one wife, and has 2 kids. He's a senior pastor of the Pentecostal Christian Fellowship Church. He's a physiotherapist and he's a founder of a company, Mahlased. Part of his responsibility in ministry is family counseling. As Benson said, and I quote, "The responsibility of a man is to lead his family." Here today to share, to equip, to guide us on family from his vast experience of dealing with different families of different strength. Gentlemen, let's give it a round of applause and help me welcome my pastor, senior pastor, GJ Phiri. We can do better than that.
Thank you so much. Let me see it. I asked you to adjust it to make it a little bit higher. I was telling the people in our office the other day when we opened the new door. So I realized that everybody was just walking free, in, out. But when I came in, I said, no, this door, I'm hitting the frame, but I mean, so I was making a joke that you short people are living a free life on earth. Now I must hire somebody to come and break this door so that I can get in. So you are living a free life. Things are easy for you. Well, greetings all of you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
It's quite a privilege for me to be standing here and being the first speaker on this conference. And I want to take this time to appreciate KBL and the Martina family for this privilege. And also, I'm so happy to see men gathered in this fashion just to come and listen to what other men are saying. I believe that this is a historic moment. It's a beginning of something great. And I also count myself privileged to be with the rest of the gentlemen, the speakers that are here, to be counted amongst them. I think I'm also privileged. I've been asked here to address on men and family. And I hope I will utilize the time wisely to just encourage men when it comes to family. You know, a family, it's a very important building block of society or a nation. Without family, we really don't have a nation. It's a cell, a building, a small cell that builds up, forms a community, and ultimately a nation. And the health and the strength, the success, the prosperity of a nation will depend on what is happening on the family unit. So I've come to encourage men that let's fight for family. That's my title. Fight for your family. One of the greatest favors that we as men can do for society or for our nation is to be there for our families. when you are there as a man for your family, that it's one of your contributions to society, to the government, to the nation. If you say, I want to do something for South Africa, by just being there for your family, it's your contribution, because you are reducing all the social burdens that are there when men are not there. Because once a man is not there in the family, then you have a crisis, you have a lot of social problems that happens as a result, and everybody, children have to depend on the government and stuff. But when you are there, it's a relief to the government, and it's a contribution, it's a positive contribution to the progress of this nation. So, as a man, you must understand that you are a head. That is something that you must understand. And a head is very significant. It's not just somebody who is having too much power, but it's a responsibility. Anything that does not have a head, we can conclude that that thing is going nowhere. So if a family does not have a head, we can say it's not going anywhere. There is a saying that goes, people usually say, I don't want to run around like a headless chicken. And actually they say there was a time where there was a chicken that was killed, and it continued to run around, without a head. But at the end of the day, it means you'll be just going in circle. At the end of the conclusion of your life, when you summarize it, it will be like, I have done nothing and I've achieved nothing. So, as a head, it's very important, because you are there to provide leadership, to provide direction, to provide vision. And that's why I want to emphasize that fight for your family. Don't just give up on it. Fight for it so that it continues to prosper. During some of these wars, Ukraine and stuff, the other day I saw a man. They say this man was I think it was a businessman, a millionaire. And he decided, when the war broke out, he decided that he's going to take his mother, his family, his children to a safe place. And then he's going back. He used to be a soldier before he came to be a businessman. He said, I'm going back, took out his military uniform that, I have no choice, I'm a man. I must put on my military uniform, I must get my bazooka also. I must go and fight for my country. And when they asked him, why are you doing that? He said, if we don't have a country, then we have nothing. And I want to say to men, we must fight for our families, because if you don't have a family, at the end of the day, you realize that indeed you have nothing. And I said, if we don't have a family, we don't have a nation. And we realize after some time that we don't even have a nation. So there are 4 things that I just want to share briefly with you to encourage you to fight for. Number 1, I want to encourage men to fight for the peace of your family. Peace, it's an environment that is suitable for people to live in. And as men, let us fight for peace. It sounds controversial, but this is what is happening in the world. You see nations going out with a big machinery, going out to fight. What are they fighting for? They are fighting so that they can have peace. They're blowing bombs, sending missile explosions, fighting. so that they can come and at least they can have peace at home. So peace, we fight for it. And I want to say to men, let us fight to have peace in our families. Because once you realize that peace has been taken, then the environment, the atmosphere, it's really, it becomes toxic and it's not healthy for any man or woman or child or anyone to live in. It becomes a toxic family environment, and it influences everybody negatively. So it's important that as men we take it upon ourselves that we are going to fight for our families and we're going to fight for peace. And I use the word fight because I hope that it will engage you, because men have that hormone that makes them to want to fight. But I want to challenge you how to fight. Don't go and say, that pastor said we must fight, then I'm going to start by fighting with my wife. No, I'm telling you how to fight. So I said, we must fight so that we have peace in our homes by creating, communication channels. We should be able to communicate clearly our intentions and our thoughts with our spouses and with our children, because without communication, sometimes you can have what they call a miscalculation. It means the other person thinks that this is what you want to do, and it's a miscalculation, it's not right. So, but when you communicate well, you learn to say your intentions, you learn to say your thoughts. That will create a harmonious, relationship, and it helps. It's a way of fighting for peace. And then one way also to fight for peace is to be able to manage yourself as a man, manage your own temper. Don't just be aggressive for no reason and uncontrollably. We all have temper. Sometimes we get angry, but we should be able to manage that. You should be able to control. You have the controls for it. Don't just let your anger, control how you speak, and you just come in and you start breaking things and shouting and kicking doors and all kind of things. Then when you do that, peace goes out of the door, and you are left with a very environment that is not conducive to live, and even yourself, you will not enjoy the results of that. So learn to say, okay, I need to manage myself as a man. I need to calm myself down. I need to take a deep breath. I need to sit back, not just be reactionary, always reacting to things. So we need to manage ourselves. And also just generally learning how to live peacefully with your wife. That will create a peaceful environment. You understand that she's a wife, she's a woman, and she's different from you, so you're not expecting her to be thinking like a man, but you are learning how to live with somebody like that who is different but yet part of you. So it's a skill that you need to learn, and so that she can feel that she's welcome, she's part of this family. It's not like she's an intruder into your space. She's got a place within your space to express herself and live her life. That will help to create peace. And then number 2, fight for the vision of your family. As a man, I said you are a leader. You must have a vision for your family, where you want this family to go. Otherwise, you must not just be on autopilot. to say, yeah, we will just take off, we'll just see where the navigators are throwing us off. You know, you must have a vision, a point where you're saying, this is where I want my family to go, this is the direction that I want us to reach. And because if you don't have a vision, you can end up anywhere and it will still be okay. It will still be your destination. You can end up in chaos and it will still be alright because there was no vision to start with. So as a man, you must have a vision. Whether that vision is to attain a debt-free kind of living or to education for your children or whatever things that you want to explore, but there must be a vision. Your wife, your children must feel like, you know, we are going somewhere, you are leading them somewhere. They must not feel like, we are going nowhere. No. You as a leader, fight for that vision, outline the vision for your family, you know, make everybody buy into what you are into as a man. And then number 3, fight for the economic freedom of your family. Don't wait for EFF. Don't wait for EFF to come to say, because EFF, maybe it will take them 100 years, you don't know. So if you're waiting for, so you fight for the economic freedom of your own family as a man. Now I want to say, men, you know, it's our prerogative as men to provide for families. You understand that? And as men, we just need to be frank with each other. We will not tell you this in front of women, but when we are men, we must just say it is our exclusive right to provide for families. You know, because if we don't do that, gradually we are going to a stage where our young men, our boys, when they grow up, they say, no, now I want to be married, I want to marry a rich woman. It doesn't sound alright, but gradually it's going there. But we will forgive women if they say, I want to be married by a rich man. We will accept it. It's okay. If everything else means that you are married by a rich man, you'll still be fine. But it can never be acceptable for a man to say, I will marry a rich woman and all my problems will be over. It's our exclusive right to provide for your family. So if your wife is working, just know that she's just helping you. Accept it that she's working to help me so that I can stand on my feet, so that I can, you know, do something, get, you know, give you your time, buy you time so that you equip yourself, get a job, start business, something, but because you should be able to take that responsibility of providing for your family. You know, as a man, you don't have a right to say, nah, I can just quit my job tomorrow. But your wife, when she's working, I'm quitting my job. But you can't say, as for me, my wife is working, these people are being cheating because you can't do that. Because you have this responsibility to supply. And sometimes when I talk to men, I hear men say, "Ish, I can marry." It will not sound maybe right in English that we are being killed by a job. Then I'll say, you know, in this world, 2 things must kill a man: a job or hunger. One of them must kill a man, and a man must choose which one must kill me. which one kills better. And if you are killed by a job, at least there is some honor, some respect. During a federal, they'll come and say a few words. They say he was a hard-working man, and your children will come and say praises and say, hey, you sacrificed for us and whatnot. Imagine if you are killed by hunger. Even your children will not come to your funeral, and people will not come to your funeral. You know why? Because they don't want to be killed by hunger on the funeral. So a man must work, fight for the economic freedom of the family. Of course, not by just supplying pending needs daily, but also, looking ahead in the future, that you are equipping your children through proper education and training so that they come to a stage where they will be able to supply and sustain themselves. Because one of the pains of men later in life is when they realize that their children are still dependent on them. You still have to support them and support even their children. Then you realize that I've not done a good job. But when you equip them with knowledge and skill, you're preparing them so that they can be financially free. And as a man, you're playing a very important role. A friend of mine told me a story of who just said somewhere, even when he was doing a trip, he just said this, but I'm quitting school. I was reading these nice books, Jabal Robert Kiyosaki, and they were saying, school is not important. And then he was quoting other millionaires that so-and-so was a dropout, and what quoting and all of them, and they're making it in life. Then his father said, okay. He said, all these men that we are talking about, let's see, what do they think about education? Let's go and check their family. They started to Google together, get into conversation. They Google and they check. They discovered Bill Gates, his children, they went to very, expensive schools. All of them, they attend something. So he said, you see, what they do for their children concerning education, it tells you what they think about education. And when I say, now Bill Gates want to drop out, so then I can just drop out and then I will make it. So as a father, you are there to guide, because you can see ahead. You can be able to see in the next 10 years. You are given the ability as a vision bearer for a family to not just look at what is happening currently, but you should be able to look ahead and give direction and guidance when it comes to your family. So I want to repeat this one: fight for the economic freedom of your children. If you have a spaza shop, train your children about the dynamics of how to run that spaza shop. Don't just train them to receive money from me, then eat the fruits, but train them to show them how this thing works so that they can run it by themselves, or they can go and open another one by themselves. That is training also that you can provide, and by so doing you will be investing into their financial freedom. That was point number 3. Number 4, fight for the well-being of your family. The well-being, general well-being. I think the doctor will talk about health, but by providing the emotional support that the family needs as a man, it's very important. Sometimes, children or wife, they tell you their problems, and you don't even have a solution for those problems. You don't have a solution, but they're telling you things that are troubling them. So I want to give you a secret. Even if you don't know anything, just tell them. it will be all right. I'm giving you a key, just tell them it will be all right. And just because it's you who said it, it will mean so much for them and bring down, the trouble and the stress that they might be experiencing. It matters who said it, If you, even yourself, if your father now can just say, no, don't worry, my son, it will be all right. It's too much. It means much more than if your friend can say the same thing. Because he's saying that from a position of authority. He's saying that from a different position. So being there for the general well-being of our children, by just being there, raising our children, when they look at you, it gives them stability and assurance. They look at you every day, waking up, going to work, and they go to school. But if they see you're not well, it affects their performance at school, it affects a lot of things around them. And we must be there to raise the boys. Men must be there to raise the boys. Because we've got a lot of boys who are just being raised by women, and we appreciate what they're doing. They are doing a great job. But at the end of the day, men must raise men. Hallelujah. And I'm saying, I thought it's church. So men must raise men by just being there for your son. Because men, they learn by observing, they're looking at you, what you do, how you live with your wife, how you treat her. Those are the lessons that they're taking. How you do everything. They're watching. For them, it's like you are at a university. They're studying. And then you are becoming an example for them. So it will help them as they go on with their lives. As I close, I just want to say, right here, as men, we have a huge responsibility upon us to strengthen the nation, to strengthen our communities, our society where we live. And the most important contribution that we can contribute is to just be there. Check your neighbor and say, just be there. Just be there. Yeah, even a simple thing, by just being there. The children, sometimes you go home and then by just being there, they just do homework even when you don't say anything. But if you are not there, the whole time they are watching TV. And when you come home, they switch it off, they go to sleep. And you know what you must do? You must go and touch the TV. If it's hot, it means everyone was watching TV. When you're not there, and when you came in, they just say, hey, he's here. So by just being there, it helps people think straight. It helps them, relax. It helps them to explore. So let us be stepping stone for our families, for our children, so that they should be able to climb on our shoulders and get higher and further in this life than ourselves. Let us not leave them with a legacy of lack and poverty, but let us leave them with an advantage rather than leaving them with a disadvantage in life. Sometimes I hear men saying, if they can tell me that I'm dying next week, I will go and make a loan. I'll go and get new furniture from the furniture store, and because I'm going anyway. So it means you want to leave a lot of debt for those that are remaining. But we need to shift our thinking, our mindset, as men, that let us live the world in a better place. Let's leave advantage for our families and for our children. And by so doing, we will be happier while we are still alive. So let us not have a mind that says, if I leave good things, people that leave good things for my family, they are just going to destroy when I'm not here, so I want them to struggle like me. That's why most of us, we never got any advantage from those that came before us. But if we want to change things around, we need to have a mind that says we want to leave an advantage for our families and for society. By so doing, we'll be able to move forward. Thank you so much, MC.
Thank you very much, Senior Pastor, Pastor GJ Phiri. Let's give him another round of applause. 33 minutes, Pastor. 33 minutes. Not bad. You managed it well. I've got one question on our platform. I'm waiting for your question too. Pertaining family. So if you've got a question, we are using the platform. I'm sure if you are on the platform already, you should see a couple of questions there. But the one that is related to what has just been delivered to us is the one that you see. If it's the very same question you want to ask, there is a way of upvoting it. So you upvote it. If your question you want to ask is there at the bottom, you upvote it so that we ask it first. Just in case we run out of time, then that question will be dealt with. But at the moment, I only have one question, and I'm just saying that put them in. For those that don't know, we are on Slido. That is the app that we are using. If you just go into Slido, it will ask you for a hashtag number. That hashtag number will take you straight into this event. That is where we are able to see all these questions. The first question that is there, that was asked yesterday, was why do men forget their birthdays? Or why do they forget birthdays? Not their birthdays, birthdays. And the second one is, why do you forget anniversaries? It was just testing questions that some of the men were asking. So the next question will be the question that we are going to be dealing with when the question and answer time comes. I will keep repeating this. If I only see one question, it will worry me. Maybe it might be that people are not in the app. So the more questions I see, the more secure that I will be. Then I won't have to repeat this information again. We are moving on. Are you still okay?